So, hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm breaking down the Fragrant flower blooms with Dignity episode 10. If you haven't seen my earlier episode breakdowns, check those first. But if you're caught up, let's dive right in. This episode starts lighthearted with food and laughter, but slowly shifts into something deeper. It's all about effort, pride, friendship, and Rintaro quietly taking another step toward accepting his feelings. So, let's get into it. The episode kicks off with the whole gang, Rintaro, Keiruko, and their friends, meeting up at a cozy family restaurant for a big cram session before their final exams. The mood is optimistic. Notebooks are stacked high, pens are at the ready, and for a fleeting, beautiful second, it actually looks like they might get some real, productive studying done. But who strolls in fashionably late without a care in the world? Osami, of course. It had to be him. And instead of offering a sheepish apology or even pretending to pull out a textbook, what's the very first thing he does? He confidently flags down the nearest waiter and proceeds to order what looks like half the entire menu. Burgers, a mountain of fries, sundaes, pastas. You name it, he ordered it. He does this with zero shame and 100% confidence. Ayato, ever the responsible one, immediately snaps at him. You're late, and the first thing you do is order a feast? We came here to study, remember? Osami, in a moment of pure, deadpan genius, just looks at him and replies, "If I don't eat, I can't focus." And honestly, that's Osami in a nutshell. He's chaotic, he's hilarious, he operates on his own unique logic, and somehow he's absolutely impossible to stay mad at. Meanwhile, a quieter, more telling scene is unfolding with Subaru. She's just staring at the gigantic, colorful menu, completely overwhelmed, as if it's another impossibly difficult exam question she can't solve. After a long, hesitant moment, she settles for the safest, plainest thing she can find, a simple sandwich. Waguri, though, she's the complete opposite. Her eyes are sparkling, and she looks like she could happily devour everything on the page. She leans in close to Rintaro, her shoulder almost touching his, and asks softly what he's ordering. Instantly, the familiar blush creeps up Rintaro's neck, and his cheeks turn bright pink. He's completely flustered by her sudden proximity. Across the table, Ayato and Saku catch the entire moment. They share a knowing smirk, a silent acknowledgement of what's happening, but they let it slide. They're good friends. Why would they ruin that little spark? Soon enough, a mountain of plates arrives, stomachs are filled, and for a brief moment, the room quiets down. And that's when reality finally hits. It's time to study. Books are cracked open, pencils start clicking, and the study, part of this study group, finally, truly begins, or so they think. Except, there's one very predictable problem. Osami, after devouring his gargantuan meal, is completely and utterly passed out at the table. Head down, arms crossed. He is out cold. No amount of shaking or calling his name can wake him. The group is officially stuck with a slumbering freeloader. Then, Waguri, ever the clever strategist, quietly flips the menu open again, a sly smile on her face. She points to the dessert section, filled with pictures of cakes and parfaits, and whispers a deal just loud enough for everyone to hear. 30 minutes of focused study equals 1 slice of cake. 1 full hour of hard work equals 2 slices of cake. My treat. Like actual magic, Osami's eyes shoot wide open. He sits up perfectly straight, suddenly bursting with more energy than anyone has ever seen from him, and declares, "Name the goal. I'll smash it." The rest of the group just stares, completely stunned. 2 seconds ago, he was a dead weight, impossible to rouse. Now, the simple promise of free cake has transformed him into a focused, academic machine. In that moment, Waguri proves that she has unlocked the ultimate cheat code to managing Osami. It's an absolutely hilarious moment, but it also speaks volumes about their dynamic. It shows just how well they already know each other, how they understand what motivates and pushes each other's buttons. It's these little seemingly insignificant interactions that build the foundation of this group in such a fun and believable way. As the cram session finally gets into a rhythm, Waguri notices that Rintaro is visibly struggling with a particularly tricky math problem. He's staring at the page, his brow furrowed in frustration. She leans over and gently offers, "If you're stuck, you know I can help." But Rintaro, to her surprise, shakes his head. He looks up and admits, "I want to try solving things on my own first. I feel like I won't actually grow if I just depend on others all the time, but if I really can't figure it out after trying, then I'll ask." This is a surprisingly mature answer, and it even catches Waguri off guard. The last time they studied together, Rintaro asked for her help freely. This time, though, something is different. He's determined to prove something, not just to her, but to himself. He wants to stand on his own 2 feet. Eventually, though, he hits a wall and admits defeat. He turns to Waguri to ask for help, but he freezes. She's in full focus mode, and the transformation is stunning. Her usual bubbly, cheerful demeanor is gone, replaced by a calm, serious, and intensely confident aura. He can't help but just stare and admire her. By the time she finishes her explanation, he jolts back to reality and realizes he wasn't listening to a single word. He was too distracted just watching her. Embarrassed, he apologizes and asks if she could possibly explain it all over again. She just offers a warm, patient smile and repeats herself without a hint of frustration. It's a small, incredibly sweet scene, but it's a massive indicator of how much Rintaro is changing. He's not just learning math here. He's learning about pride, about humility, and about what it really means to lean on someone you trust. Then comes one of the funniest and most revealing discoveries of the entire day. Osami happens to glance over at Subaru's massive workbook sitting on the table. He does a double take and nearly chokes on his drink. "Wait, that's your workbook. Ours is basically a pamphlet." "This thing's a brick." Subaru blushes but nods shyly. "Yup, that's the standard issue for the girls at Kikyo Academy. It's packed with way more drills, more advanced problems, and far more depth." And suddenly, it clicks for all the boys why the Kikyo girls always seem so academically sharp. Meanwhile, their own workbooks look like something for a middle school class. Osami simply can't handle this revelation. He frantically flips through the dense pages, his eyes wide with horror, and mutters, "No wonder we're always struggling. It's pure comedy gold, but it's also a brilliant way to highlight the massive pressure and expectation gap between the two schools." Not long after, it's Subaru's turn to hit a wall with a problem she can't solve. Osami, full of unearned confidence, tries to help but only ends up making things more confusing. Ayato just sighs in exasperation. "Stop wasting her time. You're making it worse." That's when Saku, the quiet genius of the group, steps in. He glances over the problem just once, offers a brief, perfect explanation, and Subaru understands it instantly. Everyone, especially the Chidori boys, is shocked by his effortless brilliance. But Ayato, never one to let things go, cuts in again with a harsh truth. "You're good at studying, but you're a terrible teacher. Your explanations are too advanced. No one can actually follow what you're saying." This line is a direct hit to Saku's pride, and you can see it sting. He turns to Rintaro for backup, asking for the honest truth. Rintaro, trying to be a good friend, softens the blow. "Maybe we're just too dumb to keep up with you," which is his kind, diplomatic way of saying that Ayato is completely right. Saku sulks for a bit, wounded by the criticism. But the group doesn't let him stay down for long. They remind him that if he quits on them now, they'll all fail for sure. They rally around him, they pull him back in, and together, they manage to pull through the rest of the study session. And the payoff? It's huge. They all pass their final exams. Osami celebrates like he's just won the lottery, shouting, "2 passes in a row. I can finally enjoy summer vacation." Of course, their other classmates from Chidori aren't quite as thrilled. They corner Osami and Rintaro, complaining, "We had a pact. We were all supposed to repeat the year together." Osami just grins and points at Saku, calling him their secret weapon. Suddenly, Saku has a fan club of delinquents that he never asked for and definitely doesn't want. Even their teacher gets in on the fun, announcing to the class, "There will be no holiday homework. Go out and make some memories. As for the failures, I'll see you all in remedial classes." An absolute MVP move from the teacher. With exams finally done, it's time to celebrate. After a quick debate about summer plans, the group lands on bowling, with some friendly stakes, of course. The losing team has to buy lunch. Once they get to the alley, Osami reveals he's a natural landing strike after strike with a goofy grin. Saku, too, proves once again that he's just unfairly good at everything he tries. The others just groan in unison, "Why are you like this?" But Osami, ever the strategist, finds Saku's one weak spot: video games. He makes a mental note. A rematch category has officially been set for the future. Rintaro, however, is struggling badly. His bowling ball barely makes it down the lane, sometimes even getting stuck in the gutter halfway. He feels crushed, like he's the dead weight dragging his entire team down. Overwhelmed with frustration, he walks off to get a drink by himself. Ayato, being the observant friend he is, follows him. He puts a hand on Rintaro's shoulder and says, "You're not bad at this. You're just distracted. Ever since someone asked you if you're dating Waguri, you haven't been the same." Rintaro nearly spits out his drink, completely caught off guard. Flustered, he admits he doesn't even know what dating really means. "What do you even do? What is it supposed to feel like?" he asks, genuinely confused. Ayato admits he doesn't really know either. But then he smiles and delivers one of the best lines of the episode. "It's not an exam, man. It's just two people liking each other. Don't overthink it. And no matter what happens, just know I've got your back." With that single conversation, something shifts in Rintaro. Ayato hypes him up, they head back to the lane, and together they rally to crush the next few rounds. Their team takes the win. That night, a tired but happy Rintaro heads home, showers, and collapses onto his bed. He checks his phone and sees a new, unexpected message. It's from Subaru. The message reads, "Sorry for messaging you this late. I know Waguri won't tell you this herself, so I'm telling you. Her birthday is on the 22nd. Rintaro freezes. His heart starts pounding in his chest. The screen's glow illuminates his shocked face. This is it. The quiet, perfect setup for what's coming next. This is a choice, a chance, and maybe, just maybe, the next big step in Rintaro's story." Episode 10 blends comedy and heart perfectly. From Waguri's dessert deal to Saku's pride, from Osami's chaos to Ayato's loyalty, it's slice of life gold. And through it all, Rintaro grows. Not with fireworks or big confessions, but with quiet steps, trying harder, learning pride, and realizing he doesn't have to carry everything alone. So, what hit you the hardest? Waguri's deal, Saku's teaching fail, or that final text about her birthday? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Episode 11 is going to be huge.